we conclude the regular season for the Jags. That's good news as they hope to pick up win number 8 over a Gardendale team that's struggling. More on the Rockets in just a little bit, AA. But more importantly, a tune-up for the state playoffs that begin just next week.
You know, it's amazing how quickly we get from beginning to end when it comes to the regular season. It doesn't seem like we did, a couple of blinks when it was, 90 degrees and we're taking heat timeouts. And now, coffee and hot chocolate is part of the game day gear. But, for Spain Park, this is where you want to get to. The goals that you had set really begin after this week, but you've got to finish this. And for this senior class, as they play their final home regular season game, they've got a lot to, be happy about, be cheerful about the way they laid the foundation for this program. But they know they got bigger fish to fry. You just want to kind of tune up and get it ready when it gets started next week.
And for Tim Bakakis and the Jags, it was a front-loaded schedule. You had the battle with Hoover, closely contested game early in the season. Heartbreaking, shoulda, coulda, woulda, 1-point loss at Benjamin Russell. They end up being region champs. But ever since then, it's been the Jags getting better every week. And it started with the defense. If you can go back to week 1 at Sparkman, albeit in a win, defense didn't look like a Tim Bakakis coached defense. And what you saw over really the last 5 weeks has been a defense that is opportunistic. They're getting after it, and they're not allowing very much.
Well, when you've got talent and you've got good coaching, the results are generally going to come. But at the beginning of the season, there were several guys, maybe not the linebackers, but that defensive front, so several guys in the secondary, and even more than that, the guys who were behind them who hadn't had the experience of playing at the top level, of being out there for 3 downs. And, sometimes it takes getting out there and getting knocked around a little bit and seeing some things to be able to start to find your greatness. And that's what this defense has done. We saw in the Benjamin Russell game, you could not get the defense off the field. And that came to pass in that 1-point loss. But now you see 3 and outs. You're seeing turnovers. Last week we saw a scoop and score. And so this defense is really peaking at the right time.
Yeah, you mentioned it. David Bush, the defensive coordinator, a big reason why. And Tim Bakakis, that man in the center of your screen, would be the first to tell you that. A lot of seniors here on senior night. And for Spain Park, they're sending the lights of quarterback Brock Bradley and so many others that have been instrumental in continuing to build the foundation that Tim Bakakis has instilled here in Hoover.
Well, the first thing it is to have to be a little chilly outside because Coach B has sleeves on tonight. Most of the time, Coach has got the guns out, man, and he's feeling pretty good about whatever's happening weather-wise. But it's a little more crisp, a little chillier out here tonight. But as you talk about the defense, talking about building the foundation, Coach Bakakis, that man right there is warming up Brock Bradley. Those guys, 2 of the more instrumental guys in getting it done. And, you don't want to put it past the other young players who have done outstanding work here for the Jaguars. But it is, those are the 2 big names, Coach B and kind of setting the tone for this program and getting these guys to understand what you have to do to buy in. And Brock Bradley for coming in, he came in and was a freshman, Coach B's first season, and he has really carried this program forward.
Jags to receive. Gardendale 1-8 coming in. First-year coach Eric Firestone after Chad Eads left for Hayden. How about Jace Mims? Jace Mims on the return all the way down to the Rocket 10-yard line.
And the last thing you want to do if you're Gardendale is give this Spain Park team a short field. And Jace Mims certainly was real big on getting up the field. Probably should have had a touchdown. Got tripped up just a little bit, but great return by Mims, and it sets up Spain Park in very, very good field position.
Brock Bradley, Clemson commit. Short workload last week, made it efficient. Doing it through the air to several different targets. He doesn't play favorites, and Jags will go with 4 wide. And McKissick in the backfield on first down. Flag flies from the far side of the field, and a false start, and not a great start for the guys wearing all Columbia blue.
Yeah, but it was great last week as you see Brock Bradley threw several touchdown passes and had a bunch of big passes. As you saw, Barrett Price gets one there. Good catch, Connor Greb. Then you saw here using his line, keeping his eyes down the field, and then Mason McClure doing the rest of the work right there.
After the 5-yard step off, first offensive play from scrimmage, there goes Nick McKissick. McKissick missing a few games this part of the season, but returning, and now what was once a depleted because of injury Spain Park backfield, that running back room is full, and you got different guys that can hit you in a variety of ways.
And we saw it at the beginning of the season, and we've seen it here lately. And you think about a guy like Hudson Hibbert, who was carrying the load for a couple of weeks while McKissick and J.D. Thompson were convalescing. He has been, he's down the third string, but he's a first-string guy very easily on a lot of teams, including this one.
Hudson Reed, one of the seniors, a part of that big offensive line of Spain Park. Bradley running out of real estate, throws across his body, dangerous pass. Are they going to rule him inbounds? They will. Said that the Rocket player got the foot down. We won't have the benefit of instant replay. We'll save you the time. It will be Gardendale football. And Tim Vakakis, very demonstrative there on the Jags sideline. If I'm reading lips, it was, why are you throwing that ball?
And sometimes, guys can get caught up in the moment. Brock knows this is his last regular season home game. He didn't have to do that. He could have easily thrown that out of bounds, and yet he was still trying to make a play, and it looks like that was a good catch. He did good and got 1 foot down, and it's going to be a 1st and 10 for Gardendale.
Heck of a athletic play for the Rocket defender. Gardendale trying to big play the Jags on first down, and the speed sweep to the far side, successful. Almost enough to move the sticks. Instead, they'll mark it just a yard shy. 2nd and 1 for Eric Firestone's Rockets, who will not have a whole lot of guys available tonight.
Yeah, you can look over on that sideline and see, I'm pretty sure a lot of those guys can end up playing because there's not a ton of them.
2nd down and 1, Gardendale. Turning it back. And ahead for almost 13 yards on that carry. It was an emotional senior night and a team that came in with a 1-8 record in Gardendale. Spain Park has come out relatively flat. Now the first down. Rolling this way, firing, and it's caught. Joe Cross there to save what probably would have been a touchdown, but Gardendale moving the sticks with ease.
Catch made there. Guy wearing number 17. We don't have him on our roster, but I tell you what, if you need a wake-up call, Gardendale is giving it to him, and his team was going to be better than the Chilton County team that we saw last week, but, Spain Park can't come out making turnovers and then giving up big plays.
Hand off the right side and ahead for almost 4 yards. Rocket tailback. Eric Firestone checking over for Chad Eads, as I mentioned. And Eads with a 50-33 overall record in his tenure at Gardendale. Firestone served as the defensive coordinator for the past 7 seasons on Eads' staff. He remained, and the coach headed to Hayden. Off the left side, 2nd down carry. 4 yards on that one. Rockets facing a 3rd down and 3. What are you seeing here early?
Well, they're certainly able to move the ball on the ground, and they're going both sides. It's not anything real special. They're just using their athletes to kind of, make the plays. The offensive line is getting the push, whether it's to the outside or just running in between the tackles. Gardendale is getting it done here early. And, you know, more than anything, Gardendale is a very proud program, even though they've had a little trouble this year. This team knows how to win. This program knows how to win. You have to keep an eye out for that.
On third down and short for the Rockets, stringing it out, and there's the Jag defense this crowd knows. Joe Cross, TK Slaughter, and several others as you take another look.
Nathan Bird was able to shake the block. He was the first guy there, and then Slaughter and E.J. Curley got in there and finished him off, but good job there by Nathan Bird by being able to shed that blocker and be able to get that stop behind the line of scrimmage.
Kenneth Madden helping out on the defensive line as well. Fourth down. Rockets need the 29. Robinson rolls this way, throws it across, and it's caught in traffic. And it looked like Joe Cross was going to be able to knock that ball away, but Rocket wide receiver, give him credit. And being able to hang on.
We'll find out who 17 is in a moment. He's made a couple of catches here, and Joe Cross was all over him like a blanket, keeping him warm, but it was a good catch there, like you said, in traffic for a first down.
No one asked for it, but I am a uniform geek, and I'll give you my thoughts in a moment. Around the right side, and Joe Cross all over the field. Get some more help from TK Slaughter that time, and also helping out number 12, Tristan Hill. Love everything that they've done with the uniforms, and I'm talking about Gardendale. Not a fan of the gray number. Now, I'll give them credit. It's a darker shade of gray where there's enough contrast with the jersey. It's not bleeding into the jersey, but not my favorite. Again, nobody asked, and I'm going to take the opportunity to share.
That ball should have been live. It looked like that he threw it behind the line of scrimmage. It didn't look like it was forward, but they're going to say it's an incomplete pass.
One that Leighton Dial would like to have back. He's a senior, playing in his final high school football game as a Gardendale Rocket.
Yeah, he threw that behind, it looked like. That ball should have been live.
You say that these days, but you have to add barring a decision by a district judge. We've seen that at the college level. Third down and 6. Almost 5 minutes gone by. Gardendale, their opening possession. And Robinson finds his receiver across the middle, number 17 once again. The faceless man, the nameless man, but his quarterback, Parker Robinson, he's Joe Cool out there right now.
Right, and you got to understand, this is kind of the playoffs. This is the championship for Gardendale. There's no more football after this week, so they want to, leave a great impression on this season the best they can anyway, and nothing more than upsetting the Spain Park team headed to the playoffs.
They'll go what most of us knew as a Wildcat, whatever they call it, their variation of it, with one of their speedier backs off to the right side. He's jawing a good bit. Now he's letting one of the bystanders holding a camera know about it. Got a fired up kid here on a cold night.
Yeah, he had a lot to say. It just seemed like a regular, sweep around the end. You get knocked out of bounds.
What could have happened in that 3 seconds? Second down and goal. 6.5 minutes remaining here in the opening quarter. No score, but Gardendale threatening. They go back to the direct snap to the running back. Shy of the 2-yard line. Bring up third down and goal. And the Rockets will operate from the 3.
And what we haven't seen is a lot of push from the Spain Park defensive front. You've seen it on a play or two, but for the most part, this Gardendale offensive line has been able to kind of set the line, get that push forward, and there's been no tackles in the backfield or anything like that from Spain Park.
Spain Park defense has been really, really stingy of keeping teams out of the end zone. Can that continue on 3rd and goal? Robinson hands it off. Met at the goal line. They're going to say the ball crossed the plane. It's a touchdown for Gardendale. Amari Thrasher from 3 yards out. And after the Brock Bradley interception in the end zone, Gardendale just marches it down the field. Makes Spain Park like it here on senior night.
Man, I think there were only 2 minus plays. May have just been one and a couple of incompletions, but Gardendale just did whatever it wanted to on this opening drive.
Ryan McPherson. High snap. Hole got down late, but they were able to expedite his steps, and he knocks it through. 7-0 Gardendale, 5:45 remaining here in the opening quarter. The score is correct. Gardendale marches it. 80 yards in their opening drive. Spain Park looking for another big return. Mason McClure drug down as he crossed the 35 up to the 36, and you'll see Brock Bradley and the offense as you take another look at Mason's return.
Well, I tell you what, Gardendale did a lot right on offense. They did a lot right on defense. This special teams is struggling a little bit. 2 nice returns for Spain Park here in the first quarter.
Jace Mims was able to return the first one down to the Rockets 10. A false start penalty. And a couple of plays later, a rollout by Brock Bradley, an uncharacteristic interception there in the end zone. And Gardendale operating about 5 minutes, able to punch it in from 3 yards out. Nick McKissick punches his way across the 40 and up to the 43.
Good run-off tackle there by McKissick. A lot of times you see him just going wide and not necessarily punching it inside, as he is got a lot of speed. When you think of a guy like Hibbert who's going to run in between the tackles a lot more, but that time just ran off of his tackle, and nice pickup of 7 yards.
So 2nd and short. Brock bobbled the handoff. That delayed, or excuse me, the snap. That delayed the handoff to McKissick and allowed Gardendale to get penetration. Nick still able to get up to the 45, but it will bring up 3rd down and 1.
Yeah, when you talk about uncharacteristic, you've seen an interception, the snap. This team normally doesn't do this, and it makes you wonder if maybe a little of this, early game, festivities has this team off a little bit.
They certainly look like they are, and McKissick, they're going to mark him down at the line of scrimmage. His turf monster looked like it got Nick. 4th down and 1. There's going to be no hesitation. Imagine Spain Park keep the offense on the field. Also would not be surprised to see a shift and a heavy, hard cadence to try to draw the Rockets offside. Let's see if they've been watching film. They have.
Apparently they have.
Of course, these two teams met to conclude the regular season last year at Gardendale. It was a game that the Jags won handily. McKissick off the right side. He's got plenty. The leg drive, the push all the way out across midfield to the 49.
Our first Atlas Senior Living first down of the night for Spain Park. And again, another off-tackle run there by McKissick. They're certainly getting a lot of good push there. And McKissick just runs behind, as you see the shift there, but he also gets a chance to run behind John Maloof, the
J.D.
fullback.
Thompson, and Thompson, woo, he split 2 defenders, and if it wasn't for defensive back number 1, Kamari Gooden, J.D. was off to the races instead. It's still a first down. They moved the chains.
Goodness, had a couple of big plays here in the opening quarter for Gardendale.
Thompson now with the straight handoff, and JD ahead for 5. He, along with McKissick, who we mentioned earlier, missing time with the injury. You had Mason McClure, wide receiver, but a talented guy that can do a lot of everything. And also Hudson Hibbard, who is more of your bruiser, if you will. J.D. Thompson inside the 25 down to the 22. They move the chains again. Nothing fancy here. Spain Park just lining up and saying, here it is.
And you're starting to see a little more rhythm, offensive line firing off. Big runs off right tackle there for the Jags, and another Atlas Senior Living first down.
2:28 remaining here in the opening quarter. Gardendale wants timeout. We'll do as well. Lands from Roberts A.A. Moore, first quarter. Spain Park trailing on their home field on senior night. Trying to change that here. Kenna Rigo. And here, Rigo. 22 yards. The senior, an Arkansas State commit. Pulls the Jags within 1.
First time Rigo touches the ball tonight, and it's a money ball as he takes the quick pitch and gets into the end zone for the Andrews Sports Medicine score. Again, offensive line, receivers, everyone blocking downfield. Nearly untouched into the end zone goes Kenna Rigo.
Asher McBride to hold out of the snap of Jack Lutenbacher. Reese Jones swings the leg through, and it's good. 7-7. 2 minutes, 20 seconds remaining here in the opening quarter. Jags back to even. Welcome back. Kenna Rigo from 22 yards out. Jags answer with a score for a guy who wears number 0. His value to this team this year has been infinite. Rockets on the return out across the 20, upended at the 22.
And watch here, Rigo just comes across the formation, quick pitch to him, and he just, again, uses his blockers up front and is able to get into the end zone with a veritable ease.
7-7 our score. Jags will host McAdory. First round of the 6A state playoffs. Right here next week. Jags Stadium, make your plans to be here. Parker Robinson sends his running back in motion, and Robinson gets pressure, looking for the screen, and lucky that J.D. Bonamy didn't find that in the breadbasket and have the pick 6.
And he stepped right in front of this pass. I thought he did have it, in fact, but a good catch there by the Gardendale receiver. And let's quickly here, we're in the first quarter, and our first quarter sponsor all season has been Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, which provides residential service and repair to the local Birmingham community. Hiller is the homeowner's premier home services provider of choice with their unbeatable Happy You'll Be or the service is free, 100% satisfaction guarantee. Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Wow. If you were going to maybe caption or title what we've seen from the Gardendale quarterback, it would be tight spaces.
He's certainly slinging them in there on these last 2 passes for sure. It almost looked like Spain Park should have picked off at least one of them, but it turns into 2 big completions and a first down for Gardendale.
Rockets letting it all hang out in their final game of this 2025 season. Big Joe Cross. And that is a guy you don't want to cross from his safety position. Number 19 lays the wood as good as anybody.
Joe had enough of watching all these tight catches. Said, not on this pass, buddy. And he knocks it free, gets the pass breakup.
Going to miss number 19. Miss all of these seniors. But the good news is we got at least one more week to enjoy watching them play here. A deflected pass, and wouldn't you know it, Gardendale Rocket receiver Johnny on the spot Jags still stop him shy of the 45. They'll mark it down at the 44.
TK Slaughter got his hands on this one. He saw it, but he tipped it into the air and it ended up being another reception for Gardendale.
Rockets facing a 3rd and 3, closing seconds of this first quarter. They go with a handoff and blown up from the very beginning. Flag goes down. Thrown by the official standing in front of the Gardendale sideline. That's await the call. Procedure against the Rockets. What does Tim Vakakis select to do? Spot of the ball would have them shy by almost 4 yards. It is declined. It'll bring up 4th down.
Look here, got the pressure finally. We hadn't seen much of it tonight, but that front six, able to get inside, and there was no running room there for the Rockets.
Saw Jalen Bates, James Jones, and others in there. We have played one on senior night. It's a cold night here in Hoover, Alabama. Spain Park and Gardendale tied. Start of the second quarter. We're in the high 40s here at Jaguar Stadium. Lance and Roberts say a more. The Marshall brothers, the General, and others bringing you a Thursday night for high school football. Mass substitution for Gardendale on this 4th down and 3.5. High snap. Rockets have themselves a punter, and given their schedule results, I'm guessing he's had quite a few opportunities, but that was a kick.
Very nice, and they tried to do a variation of what we see Spain Park does, and that's move that line, and so they moved the entire line. But if they had moved the entire line and Spain Park had jumped, then that would have been 5 yards and a first down, but Spain Park stays disciplined. They get the entire mass substitution in there, and good punt and tough field position for the Jags to start here in the second quarter.
And what it does is doesn't allow Spain Park to set up a conventional return. So instead, Jags working from deep inside their own territory. It's Brock Bradley trying to replicate what we saw on the touchdown drive late in the first quarter. And the Jags senior quarterback able to scramble and get a yard. Bringing up a 2nd down and 9. Now the Jags trying to get back as Rigo does. And out of the slot, Rock to the far side of the field. Dangerous throw, but what a catch by Ken Arrigo. And the stop and start. Let's take another look.
Watch here as Rigo goes inside. That ball was actually deflected. Rigo had to wait for it. He gets it, and then watch him just kind of muscle his way. He had to get a little help to get Rigo taken down for that Atlas Senior Living first down.
34 yards on the completion. Bradley to Rigo, and Brock can't find anyone. Throws it up. J.D. Thompson, no, he did catch it with the official and had a really good vantage point standing at the 50 and staring down the line in front of the Jags bench. Said no, but valiant effort by both Brock Bradley and J.D. Thompson.
That defensive front for Gardendale is doing a good job here early. Bradley, though, staying patient. You know, he really didn't look flustered in the pocket. Was just trying to find his space to be able to step up. He delivered it to Thompson just a little out of bounds.
J.D. Thompson, just a sophomore, as is Nick McKissick. Guys like Mason McClure and others. Future looks bright for the Jags, and boy, future was going to really look bright had that pass not led. The momentum of Mason McClure out of bounds. Still, it's another long completion. It's a first down.
There was not anyone within 10 yards of Mason McClure. If he could have steadied his feet, man, he had some room to gain.
McClure Greb, Rigo on this side. JD comes in motion to this side. They dump it down across the middle and all alone. But he needed Inspector Gadget arms to try to reel that one in. Connor Greb.
That pass, he had some MPHs on it, but was a little behind. A little might be being nice about it. It was way behind Connor Greb.
2nd down and 10 from the 40 of Gardendale. Slicing and dicing his way to the 31, J.D. Thompson.
We talked about it the last couple of weeks. Because of the injuries to McKissick and Thompson, they did not get near the wear and tear that guys of their ilk would get, at this point of the season. They're a lot fresher than a lot of backs you're going to run across in this playoff run.
One of the other talented sophomores, Barrett Price in at wide receiver. Hudson Hibbard told you about the role that he's played on this team. One-time quarterback, had to make the move to running back. And that's what you get with Hudson. He invites contact.
He has very little problem finishing runs. And most of the time, it's the defender who's really feeling it at the end of that run.
And oh, by the way, Hudson's going to come back, play another year of high school football. 9:45, clock on the move. Jags also on the move. Hibbard. Look at the patience and look at the drive of the big guys up front. Steady dose of run for Tim Vakakis when he needs it. And why not?
It doesn't look like there's much room, but because of the patience of Hudson Hibbard and the offensive line just getting out there, just kind of clearing that space, Hibbard did a good job with the vision, finding that hole and running it up inside. Picks up an Atlas Senior Living 1st down.
After they spot it, quickly back, Barrett Price, the sophomore, in for the touchdown. 14-yard pass and catch. Bradley to Price, and the Jags have their first lead of the night.
Ken Arrigo with a pancake block on the outside, and Barrett Price just took advantage, comes inside and gets into the end zone for an Andrews Sports Medicine score.
90 yards on the touchdown drive, capped off by the 14-yard Bradley to Price. Touchdown. The extra point from Jones out of the snout of Lutenbacher is good. 14-7, Jags on top. LED lights aglow here inside of Jaguar Stadium. Landrum Roberts, A.A. Moore. Well, feeling better about it here on senior night. It was Gardendale, the early aggressor, but 14 unanswered by Spain Park, and the Jags with a touchdown lead on a cold night, a cold Thursday night. We invite you to join us right back here next Friday night as the 6A state playoffs begin. Playoffs beginning all over the place, right? But the Jags, once again, participants as they'll host McAdory. 7 o'clock the kick time. We'll have the game right here.
And again, McAdory, they play in a very tough region, so the fact that they are the 3 seed out of Region 4 is that's not to say anything about their season. They struggled down the stretch a little bit, but they're a very solid program. You got to certainly pay attention to them.
Back in the day, they were affectionately known as Smackadory because you knew you were going to get a dogfight. You were going to feel it the next day, and you got a Rocket that's going to be feeling it tomorrow.
Yeah, Nathan Burden and J.D. Bonamy, they wanted no part of any upfield runs there for Gardendale and get them behind the sticks just a little bit, maybe right at the sticks, but a good stop there by the defense.
Those are the kind that force you to check in third period. Second down and 10, Rockets under 8.5 remain in the half. We go back to the ground, and the defense once again in the backfield or right there at the point of attack, and that's what we've become accustomed to seeing for quarters of this season. I'm sorry, AA.
Look at the firing off on that front four as Ain Park is starting to get upfield a lot more. That left a lot of room for Wyatt Beatty to come on the backside and get that stop.
Guys like E.J. Curley, senior linebacker, number 7. He's got his ears pinned back on a 3rd down and long. Rockets quickly. And the quick stuff is working right now, and it has been all night. Where the senior quarterback, the number 17, who is not on our roster.
I did get his name, though, so his folks and his friends can be pretty happy. He goes by Jalen Keenan. That's number 17, but I think that was Carter Fuller who made that catch to pick up the first down for Gardendale.
All I heard was Chris Carter. He's having quite the night. They're going to give it to him. Out of the backfield. The ball came loose, still on the ground, picked up by a Rocket. Now the official going to save everyone a whole lot of screaming and yelling for no reason. They ruled the ball down. 2nd down.
Safe call right there, but I think that ball was loose.
I'm with you, but you know what? Thumbs up, Mr. Official.
2nd down.
Yeah, I don't think Mr. Keenan was all the way down on the ground, and he let go of that ball.
Second down and 7 after all of that. Go back to the right side, and still a modest gain up to midfield. Another 3rd down and 3 coming up for Eric Firestone's Gardendale Rockets.
And what they've been able to do, especially on those 3rd down passes, is what a lot of teams have done over the last couple of years that have had success. Get rid of the football quickly. You don't have to try to even work plays that are 8, 10, 12 yards. Get it out of your hands. Let them get 5. Let them get 6, especially on those short downs to convert. That can be just as successful. But if you hold that football too long, somehow, some way, someone on that defensive front is going to make his way into the backfield.
Zion McClain races off for the Jags. Christian Carter in there, defensive line, and slipping out and almost slipping away. Gardendale receiver. It's good enough for the first down, and then some. Gardendale in control. 5:29 left here in the second quarter. And trying to deal the answer score on this drive. We go with the boot. Pressure was there, but dump off. And still, this is a Rocket team. They're scrappy, and the undersized receivers as a flag is down at the 44. That's illegal procedure. That's the early indication against Gardendale.
There's a flag on the play.
But they came in with some physicality tonight because this is a very physical Spain Park team. And hey, what? You really can't tell the opponent that they're facing is, and quite frankly, they've struggled a lot this year.
Right. And 1-8 will generally say that. It has not been a fun season on the north side of Jefferson County, but right now they're out here playing with all the confidence in the world.
A lot of emotion
Timeout Gardendale.
for all of us who have participated in your final game as a high school player, no matter the sport. Certainly remember mine like it was yesterday. Sometimes I can't remember yesterday, but I can remember that night. His timeout's taken with 4:56 in the second quarter.
I was a baseball player more than anything else, and I kind of remember the last game, but it was warm. Back up north, school was out and you're still playing. So I remember there was nobody in school when we were finishing playing.
They have to wait for the ice to thaw. So. You can line the infield.
Look, I tell you what, there were times that I had to practice with snow on the ground. There's no question about that. That was a long time ago before they have all these advanced hitting cages and all that kind of stuff. They had one batting cage that was in the bottom of the gym, and we all had to get our turns there.
Well, you started seeing the synthetic fields here in the state of Alabama, here in the metro region. If I can remember, it would have been in the mid-2000s, like 2005. And then, of course, you see a lot of them now. You used to see those where you grew up, Chicago and up in the Northeast as a kid, and thought, that's weird. Now I know why. Up in the air, the ball deflected. Closest guy to it was a Jag defender. Incomplete. As Bonamy was over there, as well as junior defensive back Jalen Mosley. Carter Holloway credited with the breakup.
We'd like to give credit to our second quarter sponsor, United Community Bank, which has been a proud sponsor all season of Spain Park football. Please visit our new Meadowbrook location on Highway 280.
James Jones back in. He wears number 85. He lines up the far side defensive end. And the Rockets give the Jags a little dose of their own medicine.
Get those 5 yards back.
Easy peasy. Little gamesmanship there.
Yeah, when you don't have much on the line, as Gardendale does not, you'll see a lot of different things happening, and some of this stuff happening may not have been on a lot of film, because this looks like the way they've been running the football, especially, it's been pretty successful. You would think that they had a much better season than they've shown in the record.
Slow developing play, but the pass is caught just before he stepped out of bounds on the Spain Park sideline. TK Slaughter, Jag linebacker, there to force him out. 3rd down and 6 as they stop the clock before 45. As you see there on your screen, left before halftime. Crowd getting into it, trying to get the Jag defense come up with a big play. 3rd and 6. Big hit. Is uncontested up the middle. That was Zion McClain, quarterback. Cool, calm, and collected. It's a 1st down for Gardendale. Let's take another look.
Watch the blitz come right in his face. That's J.D. Bonamy who blasted the quarterback, but he was able to make that delivery, and it's another 1st down for the Rockets.
J.D. Bonamy, as AA just mentioned, what he's meant to this Jag defense over the past few seasons, playing in his final regular season game as a Jaguar. Tim Vakakis looking on. 2nd down and 8 after a 2-yard pickup on 1st.
Not a lot of big plays here, just methodically going down the field as they did on their first scoring drive, the Rockets, and they just have been able to control the pace of this ball game thus far.
Probably serves them best. And a late flag coming in from the side judge. Good defensive play, but will they rule that he was offside? And that's why I got back there so quickly. 92, I can read lips.
Jalen Bates, and he was in the backfield. Now they're going to call a kick, I would imagine, or maybe a trip of some sort. Well, he was back there very quickly, and as you can see, that leg kind of did kick out a bit.
He kickstand a little bit.
That's a personal foul, an automatic 1st down for Gardendale.
Well, that's a shame.
Probably one of those kind of unintentional plays. He probably was a little off balanced a little. And as he was trying to kind of get his bearings back, he kicked that foot out.
It'd be an unfortunate time to learn that was a rule. 1st down from the 12, Rockets. Handoff, turn back, nothing there. TK Slaughter leading the way and helping to stand him up. with Zion McClain. There's a good look at TK.
And Slaughter just comes down. It just comes right down. He sees the play and just crashes down on Fuller.
James Jones, number 85, helping out. He was in your picture for a moment.
That's Carlos Brown, not Fuller. Fuller wears 30. Brown wears 29.
Second down and 10, and E.J. Curley, that was going to be a really fun one-on-one foot race to the end zone with a Gardendale quarterback.
Yeah,
and I'm not sure that E.J. is faster, but he's definitely meaner. And I'm taking 7 in the foot race.
Well, I don't know if I would have taken him in the race, but the stiff arm probably would have been really mean, and that would have given him a bit of an advantage. But you also saw the hands, and that's probably why he plays more linebacker than receiver, because that hit him right in the hands. He was unable to corral it.
He's too busy crushing running back souls. He's not the only one. Mosley hit him right where you don't want to hit a DB in the hands. That was coming in a little bit hot, to be fair.
Yeah, he caught a break as the receiver was coming out of his break and slipped. And as Mosley kind of reacted to the slip and fall, he was ready to kind of break down and try to make a tackle, and all of a sudden the ball was in the air. And so
that ball came on him quick. 30-yard field goal from the right hash. He's up, and it's good. Gardendale with a field goal to close the gap to 4. We're back to Hoover in a moment. Trying to earn victory number 8 of this 2025 season. Season ago, finishing 12-1, quarterfinals of the state playoffs, as they did battle with Saraland. And we'll take a look at the bracket later on, but projected path if the Jags are able to handle business against McAdory here at home, and Saraland to do the expected against a 4-seed Wetumpka, as Jags will make another trip down Interstate 65. Kickoff to J.D. Thompson, staggers the 10, and J.D. drug down from behind. Good coverage, much better coverage, the best coverage, quite frankly, we've seen from the Rockets on a kick tonight. And that's where the Jags will start. And they'll have a long way to go as they start from their own 22.
Yeah, but on the last drive we saw this team is certainly capable of going long distances, and really the offense has not opened it up today. You know, a couple of, the big plays have happened mostly on special teams, to be honest. A little here, a little there. But we know that this offense can get chunks, and they may have to do it here with just 2:15 left.
They come this way. Kenarigo, senior, looks like it was drawn up. Perfectly drags across the middle, or
Quick
comes
curl.
back. Yeah,
Quick curl route, man. Just come on to the sideline, man. Make this catch, get out of bounds. We'll save these timeouts for when we may really need them.
McKissick joins a trio of Jag wide receivers to the far side. Brock's looking to this side and throws it. How about Connor Greb? Back shoulder, I don't care what you call it, but Connor Greb made eye contact with his senior quarterback, Brock Bradley, and Brock placed it perfectly.
And look at this offensive line again, giving Bradley all day long. 3, 4, 5 before Connor Greb. And if you throw it in his area code, he's going to catch it, and that time he does for an Atlas Senior Living first down.
Connor, just a junior. More good news for the Jags and Tim Vakakis for the 2026 season. Bradley slung down from behind. He got back to the line of scrimmage. Spotted at the 38, 2nd and 10 with a minute 40, now minute 37 and rolling. In this half, we invite you to stick around for the halftime show, the Pride of the Park, Spain Park Marching Band. Hardworking young men and women there, the dance team, of course, cheerleaders, and a great student section home or away. We appreciate all of you joining us all season long. This fall start go against the Jags. That's how things got started, unfortunately, tonight. And you give Gardendale credit for coming in and laying it all on the line, AA, but Spain Park missing a couple of beats.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's looked the last couple of weeks. And you could, again, we talked about the pregame festivities for the seniors. This is the coldest temperature these guys have played in all year, probably even practiced in. So, you know, there's just some adjustments that this team has to make as we get into the second half.
Across the middle, a little bit of congestion. Not so much where Rigo ended up, but the path of vision for his quarterback, Brock Bradley, and he was able to navigate it and thread it through two Rocket defenders. Unfortunately, kind of had to guess his spot. Rigo was past the spot as the ball falls to the turf. 3rd down and 15.
No easy out for Gardendale here in the first half.
Brock loading up, firing. He's got Connor Grab. Grab, got it. Number 3 with a catch down to the 2. Jags set up on a 41-yard pass and catch. A Rocket shaken up on the play.
Well, I tell you what, we talked about area codes. If you get it in a Connor Grabb's area code, he's going to catch it. And Brock Bradley may as well have been ludicrous because he's got throws for all the area codes, and especially the one there for Connor Grabb, and that's a Atlas Senior Living first down.
You had 2 minutes and 22 seconds when the Jags got the ball back. And you still got 51 7/10 of a second left here. And the Jags set up nicely. First down and goal from the 2 when play resumes as they still, both training staffs tend to the injured Gardendale player. And that did not look like a stinger. That did not look like a cramp. That young man looks like he's in some serious pain. And there's Rigo, goes in motion, comes back, handed off to the big fullback. Look at the surge, the push. It's not going to be enough. It gets a yard. As Hudson Hibbard used in that role. We've seen a couple of different guys this year do it, whether it's John Maloof or others. And a timeout is taken with 42.9 left.
As you saw there on the big push there, number 64, that's Nick Hendricks. He was the one who was just kind of trying to push Hibbard into the end zone. Kind of a different version of the tush push. That was more like a back push, but still about a yard short. Wouldn't be surprised to see John Maloof get the ball here in the short yardage situation.
Second down and goal. Maloof has the fullback. They hand it to Maloof, and he's across the goal line for the touchdown. John Maloof, the junior fullback, doesn't get too many opportunities, but he makes them count when he does. And it's 6 points, and the Jags push the lead to 10.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row, Maloof gets it. And Brock Bradley had a couple of different fakes there, but by the time he got to his second fake, Maloof was already in the end zone for an Andrews Sports Medicine score. Big drive there by Spain Park right before the half and get you a little space against these pesky Rockets.
Jack Lutenbacher, another senior. A good snap, but whistles and offsides the call against Gardendale.
Guess they declined the penalty. They're going to re-kick it from the same spot.
So we wait to do it again. Reese Jones, senior. Handling part of the kicking duties this season. Out of the hold of Asher McBride. Another good snap from Lutenbacher. Another perfect kick from Reese Jones. 21-10. Jags on top, 38.1 remaining here in the second quarter.
Spain Park has had to fight for everything they've gotten here in the first half, as Gardendale has kept the pressure on with 38 seconds left. Be interesting to see if the Rockets can at least get it in the field goal range. Spain Park defense has kind of tightened it up a bit since that opening drive.
Jags will need good coverage here. Last thing you need is a special teams bust. In those middle minutes, as Gardendale is set to receive the second half kickoff. We get Hoffman and his kick. Sky to the 25. Perfectly executed. Limits the return, and a Rocket, that's the return man, slow to get up. Shaken up there at the 29 as training staff heads back out onto the field to tend to this injury. As we mentioned, it all begins next Friday night. Make your plans to be here. Jags Stadium, 7 o'clock the kick. You should take a look at the 6A playoff bracketology. In the lower left-hand corner, you'll find Spain Park as the 2 seed out of Region 3, taking on McAdory. We talked about the Yellow Jackets earlier as a 3 seed out of Region 4, and they're bracketed with Wetumpka and Saraland. You take a look at some of the other teams from the region. Helena drawing the 3 seed out of the region. They'll take on Bessemer City. Then as you roll to the top, Pelham out of Region 3. Ross Newton, his first year. The Panthers getting the 4 seed as they'll take on Hueytown. And Ben Russell, that 1-point win in Alex City. And the Jags would love to have back. Winners of Region 3, they take on Central of Tuscaloosa. And some other fascinating matchups, local teams. How about J.O.? I know Tim Bakakis was able to build that program and leave it in great shape, and just a remarkable story about Tim and what he was able to do and his time at J.O. Clay Chalkville, be honest with you, 6A, 7A.
They just line up and they'll take on anybody.
It's coin toss with that team. Of course, a very familiar face, Corey Barber, Ole Miss 4-star commit. But what he meant to the Jags that special season last year. Closing seconds. This first half, James Jones giving chase and then dumping it off and shoved out of bounds by E.J. Curley. One of the Rocket wide receivers. They stopped the clock, 26.9 left. E.J. Curley, he's got the face paint on. Most of these guys wear the war paint. Not sure they're across the nose. Hopefully that's not blood. Gardendale on 2nd and 6 and a short time to operate. And they complete the pass as Mosley there to wrestle him out of bounds. But not a whole lot of progress as far as moving down the field. He picked up 3 yards. It brings up 3rd down.
If they're getting out of bounds, they can get 3, 4, 5, and, complete a couple more passes, make one big play, and then, you take a shot at a field goal or a touchdown if you can get it in range.
I think we would all agree 3-yard increments, probably not what they were looking for. Tell you what Joe Cross was looking for. Another pelt. Pass incomplete, overthrown, and bring up 4th down. Good look at the senior. Joe Cross. Joe Cross is another guy, and he's shown it with the number of interceptions that he's had in his time. I think he would be serviceable on the offensive side of the ball. We're having fun with the defensive backs, and some of them having trouble with.
Yeah, that's true. His hands have shown to be pretty solid over the last couple of seasons, especially.
I'm taking Joe Cross with some hands. I think he could handle it. There's a timeout on the field.
Tight end, certainly, because he certainly knows how to, put hits on people too. So I could see him being a sufficient blocker. Enough you can spread him wide, or you put him on the end of the line, and I imagine he'd be able to be pretty serviceable there as well.
Take another look at the 6A bracket. Spain Park, McAdory. Jags can hold serve here at home. Saraland, the Spartans, and the 1 seed there in the Mobile region, and it's a really good region. We saw that with McGill Tulane coming in. Last year, Spain Park was the 1 seed and taking on McGill.
Yeah, that certainly wasn't an easy out. Yeah, no doubt.
End over end punt this time. Nobody back deep for the Jags as they'll let this one roll. Clock continues to roll. And the official there to blow the whistle. Special teams coach. Okay, so he was dialed in. He's hollering at his player, why did you not just let the clock wind down?
It wasn't just his coach. I
think the official could have stepped in and said, hey, don't touch that.
Don't touch it.
Kid's just doing what he was coached to do.
Well,
missed the situational memo from
I think that's the part. Now
yeah.
Watch it. Everybody's saying stay away, and then he touches it, and they're like, oh!
Oh, don't do that.
We didn't show the teammate-on-teammate violence at the end of that play. He took a couple of pops upside the noggin.
These kids are resilient. Another, 20 seconds of this high 40s weather here on a Thursday night in the state of Alabama. Not too bad. Well, after a shaky start and falling behind 7-0, Spain Park responds with 14 unanswered. Gardendale adds a field goal, but it was a Spain Park touchdown, and that's where we stand 21-10 as we enter halftime. The Jags and the Columbia Blues here on senior night retreating to their locker room, and the Rockets will do the same on theirs. The third member of this broadcast crew, and a guy that is all of our hero, Pete Triantis.
Coach, heck of a first half, very competitive. Offense seems to be moving the ball. What about that defense? What's the message at halftime?
They got to just play harder. I mean, there were a lot of chances to make plays, and they just weren't making them, But we got to do a better job, and it starts with me, and we just got to get our kids to play hard and play smart and make plays when they're there.
Efforts there, just a little correction at the halftime.
No doubt. That's what we're going to try to do.
Okay, thanks, Coach. And there you have it, first half here. Jaguars come out 21-10 at halftime. Second half on the way. It ought to be an exciting second half finish for the last game of the year till the playoffs. Go Jags.
Do not adjust your set. That is the LED lights that entertain everyone and add to the bells and the whistles and the window dressing of a game here at Spain Park High School. Still a good crowd, as you would expect, a jam-packed crowd for the Jags. A lot of folks from the north side made their way over of Gardendale, even though in their first season under new Rockets head coach Eric Firestone. Just 1-8, but it's a program that has seen some success in recent years, and they hope that return to, but we don't want to see it here tonight. Bobbled kickoff. Finally gathered and up to the 20-yard line. That's what we'll see the Rockets on offense.
Again, on the first drive of the ball game for the Rockets, they were able to get right up the field, went 80 yards after the interception in the end zone, and was able to score the football. So if you're Spain Park, you want to kind of, try to find yourself a quick 3-and-out. Do not let this team get additional momentum.
Well, big reason why the Rockets were able to have success. Sophomore quarterback Ridge Wiggins, who was a tough, and very cool customer in the first half, and give a lot of credit to his wide receivers. A lot of pinpoint, precise passing, and a lot of tough catches in traffic. Speaking of traffic, they seem to be congested around the left side of that Gardendale offensive line. And the big reason why was Zion McClain, along with his teammate, Kenneth Madden.
Yeah. Getting this team into longer second and third down plays is going to be critical for Spain Park, because there are too many short third and threes and stuff, and it made it a lot easier for them to get conversions.
Rockets back to the ground, and one of those smaller backs, but that really big Jag defense, it's hard sometimes to see where it starts and where it ends. And that young man, Prince Arnez, 5'8", 150 pounds of him, able to kind of get lost there initially and finally brought down at the 27. That's where the Rockets will face 3rd and 4.
Right, and this is where they excelled in the first half. Just, on that third down, you just get rid of the football, and there's generally somebody open.
Wiggins to this near side, and Joe Cross. Boy, he was right there. It was going to be bang, bang. Joe almost was able to keep from overrunning the Gardendale player, who was stopped. And then Joe, of course, streaking across from his safety position, almost on the other side of the field.
Well, Hanner Jackson is not a small guy. He's listed at 6'4", 210. Joe Cross, he normally, when he hits you, you go down, but Jackson a little bigger fish to fry, and he was able to get another first down for Gardendale.
6'4", 210. Not doing without the groceries. Tristan Hill, Velcro coverage, but once again, quick pass and brought in by number 30, who is not listed on the updated Gardendale Rocket roster that we received at halftime. So
he goes into the nameless category, at least until we get the name.
Some Rockets from years past, or maybe, who knows, a different age group. We featured those names in the first half. Oh, featured right there. Big old dose of Columbia Blue.
Yeah, Wyatt Beatty, he nearly could have took that hand off himself. He was in the backfield so quick.
I can assure the Rocket fans, it is not a gag. It is not something we enjoy doing, and knowingly calling out an inaccurate roster. AA will do his best to make up for that by calling your son's name at least 3 times during the remaining 20-plus minutes of this one.
As long as you don't make me sing it, I think we'll be okay.
3rd down, and that one was blown up from the start, and he got blown up by E.J. Curley, and the Gardendale quarterback, as he has taken some shots, and he's still standing in there, but he's going to remember that one from 7. Usually pretty memorable.
Well, Wiggins Ridge has had, normally he gets rid of the football quickly. This time he may have held it slightly too long. And Prince Arnez didn't really have a real opportunity to catch that football because Wiggins had to let go of it.
Ridge Wiggins, sophomore quarterback, and boy, another bomb of a punt. Barrett Price able to haul it in, and then they say, all right, that's enough. High school rules. That's where Spain Park will take over their first offensive possession of this second half from their own 15.
You know, that's a real field flipper. When you have a punter like that who can kind of change how the game sets up for your defense, man, you cherish those guys. And that was another good punt. And it sets Spain Park up deep in its own end. It's going to be 1st and 10 at the 15.
Brock Bradley is running back. McKissick, Kenarigo, Mason McClure. We have Landrick Hallman in at tight end, number 11, as Rigo comes in motion. He lines up. He's got the one-on-one to the outside. Instead, they pitch it to McKissick. And McKissick inside the numbers. And then number 22 races across the 25. It's good enough for a Jag first down.
Man, we didn't see much of McKissick after that first drive or two, but he certainly, as the big block comes in from Kenarigo, and McKissick takes advantage for an Atlas Senior Living first down.
Jag offense, tough, hard running as McKissick hit right around the line of scrimmage, but he was able to launch forward for 2 yards. They'll give him 3 all the way out to the 29. Second down and 7 as we near 7.5 minutes. Jags trying to expand on their 11-point lead. Very efficient way of doing it. 17 yards on that pass and catch from Bradley to Kenarigo.
That was a one-man route right there. Went half the field, and really Brock threw it to a spot, and Kenna just got there to make the catch for another Atlas Senior Living first down.
Jags push it out to the 42 after starting deep within their own territory. Not a whole lot for Nick there. As McKissick to the 45. They'll give him a couple. Second down and 8. So we'll go under 7 minutes in this third quarter.
Marquez Maddox is in there, the first guy in there to make the stop for Gardendale. Not a lot of room there for McKissick to run through.
Price in motion. Oh, and Brock Bradley. Nobody accounted for number 14, AA, coming off the edge. And tell you what, it's a game of inches. It's a game of half seconds and a half second longer. And you're looking at a turnover.
Right, and again, that was Maddox who made the play on the last run for Spain Park. This time he gets into the backfield, and Brock Bradley had no clue that Maddox was coming around that edge. And like you said, half second later, that ball's in the air on the ground and possibly going back the other way.
Mason McClure comes out this way. Brock going that way. Connor Greb. And Greb, left knee ruled that it touched the ground, but it's still a nice passing catch. And Connor Greb continuing to impress with his agility and especially his sure hands.
Well, I tell you what, he is going to be a real big weapon in these playoffs coming up. You think about Mason McClure on the outside. You think about Kenarigo on the outside. You think about Barrett Price inside, outside. But, man, Connor Greb is going to be a real mismatch problem for a lot of teams in this playoff bracket.
McKissick inside the 35, and Nick. Maybe some help from his friends, but just a lot of drive from the sophomore running back. 9 yards on the pickup.
Yeah, Jimmy Washington was kind of holding on for dear life, hoping somebody would be able to help stop him because McKissick had gotten a head of steam up there.
Gets another one. He's going to get a block from one of his favorite road graders. And senior offensive lineman Hudson Reed, as Nick goes wide, and just the way you draw it up.
Well, you know, in the last couple of weeks, they've been running that handoff where it's kind of a spin from Brock, and he kind of tosses it to the opposite side of where he is, as opposed to the traditional handoff where you're just putting it in the belly of the running back, as you see there, to J.D. Thompson.
J.D. Thompson, different style runner. J.D. is kind of like I guess it would be any animated cartoon that involved a really fast character winding up their legs before they get going. You give J.D. about a yard or two to get up to top speed, and he is a tough stop for anybody. 2nd down and 8. That's J.D. out of the backfield. And you see there, puts on the Jets right on cue. Touchdown, J.D. Thompson. That one from 19 yards out. It'll go as another touchdown for the quarterback, senior Brock Bradley, and the Jags extend their lead.
Watch Connor Grebb here to the outside. Thompson gets it and turns upfield. Watch Grebb gets in front of the defender, and Thompson makes it work for an Andrews Sports Medicine score.
The Swiss Army knife, Connor Grebb, showing the full repertoire. Reese Jones, McBride to hold. Jack Lutenbacher, the senior, snaps it back. Reese had to hurry that one, and it gets inside the far upright. He remains perfect on the night. 28-10, under 5 minutes to play in this third quarter on senior night in Hoover. After the touchdown, a Hoffman kickoff for the Jags, returned by Kamari Gooden and James Jones. Call him a Jag pass rushing specialist. He's really good in those situations. Serves as a defensive end, but he raced down the field to bring Gooden down in his tracks. Gardendale once again deep inside their own territory to get things started. Just over 4.5 minutes to play in the third quarter and trailing 28-10. Wiggins, you got to be kidding me. Mosley had it, didn't have it, had it again, and then the ball hit the turf. And I guess you think you're lucky stars if you're the Jags, because the things and the way things have gone tonight in those types of situations, it's usually resulted favorably for the Rockets.
Would have bounced right in his hands. I know Jalen Mosley is just having a fit inside his own helmet right now. He's like, man, I've had my hand on 2 balls and didn't get a chance to get an interception on either one of them.
Ridge Wiggins trying to find one of his favorite targets in Jalen Keenan. He's been busy tonight, as have Brooks Beasley and Cohen Corbell. That pass incomplete. 3rd down and 10. Staring at this Gardendale team. Found the going tough after losing their head coach as he made the move. Not too far down the road, but made the move nonetheless. And you had longtime assistant, defensive coordinator, Eric Firestone, taking over. And I'm sure while carrying over a lot of things from what he had from Coach Eads and another drop. I'll keep telling my story.
Jalen Mosley would like for you to continue to say it, because I'm going to have to keep saying it. He had another one in his hands.
Jalen, you're my dude, and I'm here for you. I'm your wingman.
Probably just need to get some of those hand warmers in there. His hand's probably just a little cold. That's the only thing I can come up with, because Jalen's pretty sure-handed guy.
Jalen, as I was saying.
was trying to help him.
You do have continuity from the old staff, but I'm sure there are certain things that Eric Firestone, just like every other head coach, wants to put his stamp on and do things a little bit differently. And look, you play in Class 7A in the state of Alabama. It's not easy. Punt, another great punt. Tell you what, that's where the Rockets have had success tonight. And give credit to the young man who handles the punting duties. All the way down to number 99. Counselor, if you'll read that for me. Exhibit B.
Come on, man. That's not fair. We're going to see if we can run across that young man's name because it's not on the new roster that they gave us. And I imagine it's not on the old roster. But number 99, you're doing an outstanding job of punting, and we'll find out
a heck of a job
who you are in a moment. But we'd like to remind you that the third quarter is proudly sponsored by the premier local new home builder, Signature Homes. Build your life with us. And as always, go Jags.
The first roster that we had, was that Gardendale, Alabama, or is there another Gardendale? Winding up, firing wide open. Mason McClure. Touchdown, 60 yards. We're going to miss that when it finally comes to an end. But, wow, it sure has been fun watching Brock Bradley do stuff like this.
And he had all day, and Mason McClure had a 5 to 6 yard lead. He had to wait on the pass just a little bit, but he scorched the defensive back there. And then look at the strength, look at the skill, holds on to the football and gets over the line for an Andrews Sports Medicine score.
Reese Jones, McBride to hold. Another good snap from Lutenbacher. Jones kick once again, perfect. Well, the Jags starting to impose their will. 35-10, last part of the third quarter. Well, after the kickoff, Garrett Hoffman, Kamari Gooden, a lot more success than he had on his last kickoff return. He almost got gone. Kamari finally wrestled down at the 40-yard line, so the Rockets much better starting field position. But unfortunately for Gardendale, their fans and their head coach, they trail 35-10.
In that first quarter and really deep into the second quarter, this was a tight ball game, but Spain Park scored real late, and they've added 2 more touchdowns here in the third quarter to break this one open.
Ridge Wiggins is the sophomore quarterback. Goes short, not much there, and probably a good thing that the ball fell incomplete, as you had a couple of Jags there. Had it been caught out of the backfield, you were looking at the very least, probably 3 yards of a loss.
Those passes that were available in the first half, those quick releases, guys able to get those intermediate catches and get a couple extra yards, those have not been available here in the third quarter.
Handoff and turning it back. And getting about 2.5. They'll spot him out to the 43.5-yard line.
That's Walter Tamper on the carry for Gardendale.
Thank you, sir. 3rd down and 7. And the Rockets go 2 wide to each side. Running back joining Ridge Wiggins in the backfield. See what Eric Firestone and the Rockets dial up here. Oh, and the play was there. We've seen that work tonight. A lot of those kind of routes and quick passes, but unfortunately that time incomplete is Brooks Beasley. Just a freshman wide receiver, the intended Gardendale player on that.
Spain Park is starting to mix it up a little bit. That time they went with the zone blitz. The linebackers came. The linemen all dropped back. And so the linemen weren't able to kind of get the pickup that they wanted to get, and Wiggins let go of that football a little early.
Another fine punt. And the Jags will have it. Thought we were on to something. Number 99. Well, the good news is, because it would be weird, the name has not just suddenly appeared on the roster. The bad news is I thought it potentially could have been 39. Right? You've got the gray numbers.
Yes,
I'm getting older.
Tougher to see, yes.
Guess what? Negative 39. Nobody listed. And I don't blame them.
But we're going to go, I think we have them. We're going to go with Ryan McPherson, who handles the kicking and punting for Gardendale.
Nash Davis, sophomore quarterback. Future quarterback for the Jags, taking over. As Brock Bradley, the senior, his night is over. Take a look at 6'4" gunslinger. Boy, Tim Bakaxis, this staff, really excited about the potential of Nash Davis and some of these younger Jags who you will get to know very, very soon. Nash dropping back. He's going to show that cannon, and boy, oh boy, he's got McClure.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Welcome to the show officially, Nash Davis. 62 yards and a Jag touchdown.
Man, there's so much to break down on this. Look at Davis. Davis just winds it up and fires it off. And again, Mason McClure 5 yards behind the defender for another Andrew Sports Medicine score. Everything came together. The offensive line held it up. Nash Davis, he doesn't get a chance to throw those type of balls in any ball game this season. And today, he lets it loose for the score.
Lutenbacher's snap is back. McBride's hold is down, and the kick by Reese Jones is good. 42-10. This crowd enjoying it. Plenty of time left. Still 2 minutes and 2 seconds remaining here in this third quarter. But now I think the fans, they can enjoy this one just a little bit more than they did in the first 24 minutes, AA.
And it's going to be interesting to see if they consider how much cooler it's gotten since they sat down for this ball game, because you had to really stay locked in, because Gardendale certainly was proven to be a tough out. But now this offense has spread it open a little bit here. And, you know, again, we talked about it in more recent weeks. Coach Bakaxis has gotten Nash Davis in there during times where he can throw the football. When he would come into games early in the season, he was really just handing the football off and just trying to run the offense. But now he is starting to make big plays and showing all of that great potential.
The junior kicker, Garrett Hoffman, ball bobbled on the return, collected, and then slung down after his forward progress had been halted at the 17. Rockets get it there.
And look at on the return, just bobbled once, twice, and when he picked it up, not much room to run. In fact, you did a lot more going backwards than you did going forward.
Speaking of picked it up, Israel Anders, who had a big pickup last week in the scoop and score, in linebacker, number 32. He alongside with starter and senior E.J. Curley, who's still in, Carter Holloway, Tristan Hill. Let's go through the secondary, see who is still out there for the Jags. A lot of different defensive linemen they use in David Bush's defense in that rotation. Wyatt Beatty, one of the mainstays, getting through. And lets the Rocket running back know it right as he does. Watch this.
Yeah, Arnez Prince was looking for a hole to run through. It wasn't there, and Wyatt Beatty made sure that there wasn't going to be any more forward progress.
Ethan Boykin, another senior, there on the defensive line. He's right there to the right of Wyatt, wearing number 2. Christian Carter, number 97. He's a junior. We'll get to see Christian hopefully next season. And we'll continue to update you as more substitutions become available. Up in the air, and wow. Incomplete. It was good coverage by Hill. You had Carter Holloway lurking.
One of these passes is going to get picked. The laws of averages.
You can only tempt fate so much. How many would you say right offhand?
It's got to be at least 5 or 6. I was going to say 6.
All right.
We know Jalen Mosley has had 3 all by himself.
I thought we were past that.
We know E.J.
Why
Curley
are you bringing
had
up
one.
old stuff, eh?
E.J. Curley had one, too. Hit him right in the hands.
Here's the short pass and dumping it off Ridge Wiggins. And one of the many guys that he has found as an option tonight in that offense. Arnez Prince, but well shy. About 10 yards, in fact. And we will see another punt.
Ryan McPherson.
Ryan
got your name, bro.
Ryan McPherson. I like to call him Ray Guy. And that one bobbled. Barrett Price got to grab it. Somebody does. And was that Tristan Hill? Or potentially was that Brody Smith? Tristan.
You don't want to start developing bad habits at this point of the season. And on that particular return, and we've seen it on one other one here tonight where Barrett Price is kind of running up to it, even though, he never gets a chance to steady himself for a ball that you're not going to return. If you're going to fair catch it, you want to get there, you want to get your feet down and just make sure you secure the football. That time it hit him off the hands, and Spain Park lucky to be able to get the loose ball.
I don't know if it's legal, but if it is, let's investigate into investing in spider tack from some of our defenders. Eight yards on the carry. Say all of that, of course, tongue in cheek if you don't pick up on things that easily.
A new running back in there. That's Caden Comer who got that run.
Well, we are 3 quarters in the books. Spain Park continuing to flex on senior night, and they lead big.
Not with all this stuff going on. Forget it.
Landrum Roberts, A.A. Moore, you can tell by the jubilation it's a good night for the Jags. Didn't start that way, but as we begin the 4th quarter, Jags leading comfortably on, it depends on where you're from. You're hot-natured, cold-natured, but a cold night for this southern boy. Maybe considered a chilly night for the guy to my left, A.A. Moore, who hails from Chicagoland area.
Look, let me tell you something. It doesn't change. I've been down south for 30 years, and this is still cold. I'm not gonna give it any help. It's cold.
We accept you as one of us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Got my card, at least my license.
Oh, and somebody got started way early.
It's Clay Bailey. He was ready to go. He had this. That's when guys take off like that, the play generally is for them. He was ready to get out in that pass pattern and try to get open.
Maybe he got told, hey, you're going to be Mason McClure on this play, and he got just a little bit excited.
I can run past them, too. That's possible.
If you're just joining us or you got up to get a snack, Mason McClure with 2 long touchdown receptions from Brock Bradley and Nash Davis. Run to Caden Comer, senior running back, number 10. Caden. Doing his job. Everybody's got a role. And he's got a big one to step into, that young man, Nash Davis, next season. This is a program that, in its comparatively short history as a varsity football program, yours truly was there for the first varsity game when a 14-year-old Neil Caudle lined up at quarterback. But whether it was Caudle, and I will miss a name here. I'm just throwing a guy named McMullins. That's pretty good. I think he's actually still earning a check from the NFL. So many great players from this program, and across the middle, incomplete. Trying to hook up with Andrew Milan, senior wide receiver number 8, that young man.
You got a lot of talent that has come through this program over the years, and you know, like a lot of programs, you can run into ebbs and flows, but over the last 4 years, certainly, this program has seen a lot of talent come through it, and you can tell just by looking at college rosters now where some of our guys have gone.
Little backspin on a rare punt for the Jags, and checking up and backing up to the 22-yard line after a short punt from freshman punter Zach Jones Van Pelt.
Coach V still out there coaching away. He didn't like that punt as much as he's seen some other things that have gone on here tonight. So you keep coaching them up. You know, the result's going to be a Jag victory here. You still want to make sure that guys are doing the things they're supposed to do, because, again, starting next week, all of these wins that you've gotten to this point mean very little.
48 degrees. Feels like at 45. Ball comes loose after the stick by the Jag defender. They say they have it, and they do. Madden comes up with the loose football. Let's see who jarred it loose.
Just a quick jet sweep around the corner, and out came the football. I know one of the people who were sitting there was Kean Taylor, but it's going to be an A.R. Holmes turnover as Kenneth Madden comes up with the loose ball, and the Spain Park offense is back on the field as Madden slams it home with two hands.
A takeaway from David Bush's defense. Turnover dunk on the sideline. And the fun continues. Nash Davis complete to number 84. Came into your picture. Sophomore tight end Sawyer Scott.
Yeah, you don't know if these reps are going to be important for the playoffs, but man, it's certainly great to see these guys get these opportunities as their turn is coming.
Pitch out to the outside, Caden Comer. And Comer, as he found 4 yards, as he got to the 8, he was stood up, and then he was folded in half like a tailgate chair. He's all right. Jags got it. This clock continues to move. 8.5 remaining in this fourth quarter. On second down, it's Comer getting his number called again, and 1 yard for the Jag senior running back. Third down from the 6.
And at this point, Spain Park can just take its time. You get your plays in, make sure everybody's executing. More than likely finding another hole for Caden Comer to run through.
Nash looking to throw, running out of time to do so, and wisely goes out of the back of the end zone. Well, if he had any designs on doing anything else, he learned from his senior quarterback, veteran Brock Bradley, at the beginning of tonight with the ill-advised throw, uncharacteristic, I might add, by Brock. That was picked off, that Timbakakis was none too happy about. Nash just throws that one away. The penalty assessed against Spain Park, so they back it up.
A little OPI, offensive pass interference, trying to make something happen. Kind of got to keep your hands to yourself, though, when you do that.
Or just don't get caught. Which I feel like watching college football every Saturday. There are a lot of guys who are good at it, not getting caught. Nash Davis underneath. That's Milan and Andrew Milan. Able to get some of that yardage back as he got to the 10. It'll bring up 4th down, and Spain Park substituting. Field goal unit heads out onto the field. McBride will hold.
You know, watching Nash throw, it harkens you back to Brock Bradley's freshman year when he got some opportunities late in the season to throw the football, and you got to see that arm talent, you know, put on display in the latter portions of the season. In fact, he got a start, I believe, at the end of that season, and he looked really good, and Nash Davis has done the same.
Hoffman from 27 yards, if the shadow was correct, and it was. It snuck inside the left upright. Field goal good, and the Jags add to their lead, 45-10, under 7 minutes to play. Here in the final game of the regular season for both teams. Final game of the season for Gardendale, as their season will end at 1-9. And the Jags begin the playoffs.
You know, we've seen in recent years these teams have decided to play that last regular season game on Thursday night. Give you just a little bit of extra time to start preparing for the playoffs for those teams that make it. What do you think about that?
I like it. Maybe. It depends.
It depends on the travel schedule, I guess, in that.
Yes. Yes. Jags kick it away. A lot more fun when you get your first real cold of the season and your team is leading by 5 touchdowns. Return for the Rockets, slipping by, skating out of one would-be tackle. Heine's in effect and brought down at the 30-yard line, they rule. And Gardendale takes over. Check it out. This Sunday, right off of Valleydale, Jefferson's outstanding atmosphere, wonderful food. And it's the Coach V's show. Who else? Coach Timbakakis. Probably in a climate-controlled environment, he will show off those guns. Always great for a Christmas card for the family.
Climate control, I like that.
Tonight, Coach wearing the hoodie. Tell you what, though, that head had some steam coming off of it. Is throwing back this way, underthrown. Is Ridge Wiggins and an injured defender for Spain Park. That's Peyton Wood. Where's 13, the senior defensive lineman? And Peyton in some obvious discomfort. As they tend to Peyton, we'll take timeout. Date on Peyton Wood, Jags defensive lineman, helped off the field, favoring the right knee, already with a brace on that knee. And hopefully Peyton's okay. Jag defense finally able to chase down the speedy back for the Gardendale Rockets, but not before a chunk play.
General Wilcher is the tailback who broke off the big run there for Gardendale. He started up the middle and found the opening to the near side here, and big first down run for Gardendale.
Senior Xander McClure, who has had some big moments, especially here in the last couple of weeks. Finally raced him down and got him out of bounds. James Jones checks in on the Jag defensive line as Ryan Harvey, sophomore, big guy up front, heads off. Spain Park hosting McAdory next week, 7 o'clock. We will be on the air as well, but if you can make it in person, we invite you to cheer on the Jags in that first round playoff game. Hopefully there will be a round 2 to speak of as the turf monster reappears. Haven't seen him since the first quarter when he got Nick McKissick, but he doesn't play favorites as he gets the Gardendale running back there.
Yeah, Wilcher does it again, finds a hole to the near side and has another big run. He's picked up more than 50 yards on his last couple of carries here for Gardendale.
Next week, you can view it on the NFHS network and Facebook. Have people that had an aunt and a grandmother this week that let me know that a lot of times schedule will not allow them to be here at the game in person, but they said that A.A. Moore is their favorite.
Well, when there's not a second choice, I'll take it.
They're in favor of the Moorecast.
You know, it's funny. I remember being in an oratorical contest. This was back when I was like a senior in high school, and I ended up coming home with the second place trophy. The problem was there wasn't a third person, so some good scholarship money.
That reminds me of a putting contest that I was in as a kid. Never had to tell Dad. I finished second, won a really nice putter. The kid who won first got 5 days at Disney.
Yeah, I walked out of there. That was a big trophy, too. I was like, oh, man, I did great.
There were more people in the putting contest. We had to graduate to rounds. You know where it was? It was a benefit Eddie Payton put on.
Okay.
There in Montgomery at Wynn Lakes. So my dad drops me off at the course. All these celebrities at the Pro-Am having breakfast. They move from the tent. There's one celebrity still enjoying his sausage and biscuit. Me as an 11-year-old. You know what? Now's your opportunity. You got to seize it. Had breakfast with Dr. J. It's pretty cool.
Wow, that's all right.
Not going to promote that for our young people out there. Nowadays, you could get tackled or tased, but
yeah, don't just walk up.
Back in the day, no, a really cool moment.
Yeah, that's got to be all right there. Best I can tell you, I went to a Tiger Woods press conference. That's all I got.
Well, that's really cool too.
Yeah.
Wiggins finds his favorite target. He's had several. He's thrown the ball to a lot of different guys, but number 17,
Jalen Keenan,
has been the guy.
And he was really the guy early, and then as the offense started to slow down, we hadn't really called Keenan's name much, but another good play. He's had a nice night tonight for the Rockets.
What, for a guy who's shown so much mobility, agility, whatever, and speed, looks like he's got the brace. Goes all the way up, and you see how stiff he was walking just to go and line up, but doesn't seem to be affecting him in his route running or after the catch for that matter.
Well, he's a senior. This is his final game. I'm sure he was going to do anything he could to stay in this ball game. As they're on that run, they're another guy whose name we called that's not showing up, number 30, but all in all, they tried to run that wildcat play, but there was no room as Spain Park gets the tackle for a loss and going to set up that fourth down.
Number 30, very talented young man. He is in between General Wilcher, well, that's a great name, and Kamari McIntyre.
His people know who he is. I would say that's fair.
Well, he's played admirably tonight. So appreciate our Rocket fans tuning in. I'm sure that there are better days ahead for that program and that head coach.
Well, again, as I was saying earlier, sometimes you run into lulls with programs. It's very few programs that stay elite 20, 30 years in a row. I mean,
let's go back 4 seasons. What we saw here with Tim Vakakis taking over.
We were very fortunate to get the couple of wins that we did, and that's no slight to the guys who were here.
No.
They just weren't ready as this program was kind of starting to lay the foundation a bit. And as the guys started to buy in, the workouts, off-season workouts, the work in the summer. Once you start getting that, you start seeing the results. Because even as you think about it, that second season didn't start off great, and then all of a sudden the hot streak came.
And how has Tim Vakakis had so much success wherever he has been, no matter the circumstances? And a wide open touchdown. Ridge Wiggins to number 87. I believe that's Corbel.
Yep, Cohen Corbel, 5'11" tight end.
The Rockets able to add a late touchdown with just north of 3.5 minutes left in this fourth quarter, and they'll attempt the point after touchdown. I believe you said that was McPherson, Ryan McPherson.
And they've been running this here in the second half where they go to the far side and then run the action back to the near side, and that time you got a guy wide open.
And you do it against some guys that are, some of them, just trying to get experience. And this is the time to do it. And one of those learning, teaching moments for this coaching staff.
Well, I've been trying to teach people all season long that after our games are over, make your way over to Buffalo Wild Wings on 280, where they've got an assortment of items on the menu, and you certainly would do well to take advantage of them. Mine is always the chicken. I'm not going to, that's why they call it Buffalo Wild Wings. They named it just for me.
So you're not the guy that goes to the steakhouse and orders the pork chop.
No, I'm not going to do that, but I'm not going to order pasta. I'm not going to order anything. If I'm at the steakhouse, then, I want you to show me your best steaks. I don't even want a salad with steak in it.
Has there ever been a situation where you went into a restaurant, there was absolutely nothing that agreed with you, or you were willing to attempt where you just said, you know what, the kids' mac and cheese and hot dog looks good?
I know I've run into that once or twice, and sometimes it's not because what was on the regular portion of the menu was bad, but that
you forgot your wallet.
That mac and cheese just looked really delicious.
The mac and cheese. You're right. Hey, growing up in the food service business, it's why aren't they offering this to the grown folks?
Right.
that is not the orange magic powder that I grew up on. That came out of the box. As you take a look at the kickoff return from the Jags.
Yeah. Asher McBride gets it and heads to the far side. He's got blockers in front of him, showing some of that good speed. Able to get it across midfield, which is where Spain Park will take over here.
And they'll do it with Everett Thorson, junior quarterback, number 17. He's joined by Jace Mims, running back, wearing number 24. Big 25 with the catch from Thorson, and look at the excitement from his teammates on the Jags sideline. It's coming down was William Turney, senior tight end.
He doesn't get a ton of opportunities. That's why his teammates were loving that. He was able to get a catch, get something on the stat column. Did a good job there, pitch and catch from Thorson to Tunney.
His teammate Miles Bryant, there on the offensive line as he was in the stands, he was still telling him about it. Hey, man, that was great. I'll go back and watch this broadcast, and Miles will say, that's not what I was saying at all.
saying there were more yards out there for you. Should have leaped over, hurdled him.
Why are we having to run another play? Second down and 14. Clock continues to move, approaching 2 minutes. And the handoff. You got 4 plus another 3 of those yards back. Third down and 7 now. After the carry by Jace Mims, in to spell him, Joshua Tenney. Junior running back, number 45. Had explosive runs. Go back to the Calera game, he had one. Fortunately, tail end of the run, it just got wrestled away. But when you go back and Jags continue on third down and 7 from the Rockets' 33, a high snap. Thorson's got to just go jump on it. He does so to avoid the turnover. The fourth down coming up. But it was just wrestled away from him. But it really makes you appreciate just how competitive it is on this Jag roster and how healthy this program is, and it shows it. Whether it's participation, it's guys staying in the program for 3-4 years, even if they're not a first-team guy. That's hard to do these days in high school athletics. I don't care where you are.
Yeah, guys want to play, but there's something to say about winning and winning together and working together, and this program is showing that certainly over the last couple of years.
Something that I know because we played for a Hall of Fame head football coach, and I've been friends with him since we were little bitty. But Tim Vakakis, these kids that go through this program, there's so much more than football that these kids will take with them the rest of their days, and that's the reason why. Non-negotiables, consistency, playing no favorites, and it's that steady grind. Boy, he coaches them hard, but golly, he loves them and will do anything for them and will defend them unless they do something that is indefensible.
And you can see that out here, just watching how he coaches, how he approaches his guys, how he coaches them up. There's no soft shoeing or baby, and we've seen Brock Bradley kind of get on the bad side from coach. We saw it happen tonight. They're just things that you can't do, and if you do them, then coach is going to let you know, hey, you can't do that.
All programs are not created equally, and you will have programs that they win a lot of games and they play for championships. But there's not that connection that you have that's so unique to not just Spain Park, and there are other great programs that have great coaches and leaders of young men all across this state in all sports. But this is a senior class that will certainly take with them a lot of fond memories, and in the process, a lot of W's.
Right, they had a huge winning streak that went over 2 seasons, 17 consecutive wins at one point. Had a regular season tote that got to 16. So it was just a great job by this team this year. As you can see, all of those seniors, and some of these seniors, you haven't heard us call their names a whole lot this season because they don't get on the field near as much as some of the other guys. But yet, all in all, they all work together. They all are responsible. They'll all be able to go say, hey, I was part of this team, this program that has been playing at a championship level over the last several years.
That's a lot of wins for Brock Bradley and this senior class at Spain Park High School. Win number 30 here at Spain Park for Tim Vakakis. Coach V, his overall mark here at the park runs to 30-13. And good news, we've got another week to play football next week right here, Jag Stadium. Opening